Over to Samox. The way the structure of this panel is going to work is he's going to walk through a little bit of what he's been working on while showing some footage, and then he's going to go ahead and invite some of the original characters from the original Smash Bros. Documentary that we all know and love, and we're going to have a little Q&A. Does that sound good to everybody? All right, very good, very good. With that, then I guess we'll turn it over to good old Samox, and he'll get us started. Give it up.
What's up, guys? Thank you for being very patient. Technology is hard, and you're very, very, very awesome to stick it out. I do have a clip of metagame to show you. I was hoping to be able to also show you kind of a little, take you down the road of basically explaining how the original documentary came to be. I can't see that thing on the screen that should be right here. What I'm thinking is, oh, there we go, there we go. Oh, that's awesome. Technology, like I said, hard. Okay, oh boy, there's a lag on that. There it is. Oh God, so laggy.
Just click right in the middle of the video.
Okay, here we go. All right, well, I'm not sure how this is going to work. It's probably going to fail, but this is what this is kind of if this fails miserably, I'll just do like a kind of a makeup thing later, an update or something like that. But basically, I just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of show you guys what it was that all kind of brought the Smash Brothers documentary together. And then, I know we have very, very little time left, but as soon as that's over, hopefully get wife and chilling up there to answer some questions if possible. If not, we'll just jump right into the metagame piece, and then you guys will be all happy. So, left click and we're good. Okay, I'm going to hit this now. Without further ado, this is the beginning of the whole saga in 1993.
Our baby's name is Jesus.
So that was the first movie that I ever made. That was in 1993. That's me on the left and my cousin on the right. We had just kind of discovered our family video camera and decided to start making movies, and that kind of got me into this world. And you know, when she, you know, it was the story of Christ, you know, being born, whatever. So we took some liberties with the kids. But, you know, that kind of set me on the course of learning how to make movies. And when she got too old to make movies with me, I ended up making movies with my brother, my younger brother, and our two best friends from across the street. Here's a sample from one of those.
Just to go in there, check around, see the guys who did this, and see that they paid for what they did. Prepare for landing!
So this is the kind of stuff that we would do, just kind of run around and make movies. It was sort of a way of continuing to play pretend a lot longer than it is socially acceptable to. But of course, you know, that kind of got me excited about it, and you know, I went into college sort of kind of doing the same thing. This is some footage of me behind the scenes shooting in college. Fun fact, my class was the first class to not have anything to do with celluloid. We actually just had digital the whole time. So that was kind of a cool thing. But you know, after I graduated in 2006, I sort of realized that, I don't know, I'd been doing it for like 10 years, and I was kind of sick of the whole like film thing. I wanted to try something new, and while I was in college, I kind of figured out that girls sort of like it when you play guitar. So that's kind of what I got into. I started playing music, and I started writing songs and putting albums together. And this is an example of what I did that topped the charts at like 1,000 views.
if you want to, you can come along too. No need to be lonely, you're alone with me.
So that's me kind of doing my, thank you. That was my other career. So I really love doing that. My brother actually was going to Berklee School of Music, doing songwriting and stuff too. And I wanted something new. I'd been in California for a long, long time, so he needed a roommate, and I went out there with the assumption we would kind of collaborate together and work on projects. And it ended up not really working out. He had a lot of work with school and stuff. So, at the same time, I kind of realized that I really had a connection with film that I didn't have with music. I really understood film on a different level. So I got really obsessed with this camera, which was like, this was back in 2010. HDSLR was like becoming really big. There was actually the season finale of a House episode was shot on a 5D Mark II, which was like, this is a really affordable camera. I could buy this, I could shoot with it. And like, they were using it on real professional like stages and stuff. So I saw this as an opportunity, and I bought one on a credit card and was just like, screw it, I'm gonna go, play around with this. And I got a computer to play around with it too. And so I was all primed and ready to get back into film. This is around 2011, early on. And at the same time that I was doing all this film stuff, I was also, huge, just like most kids my age, into video games, consoles, 64, loved. Me and my brother loved playing 64, went back and forth in that all the time. I never got into Melee because I went to college in like 2002, and my brother got the console then, and I was just like, I'm doing my college thing. So it wasn't until we were living together in Boston when the only game we had was Melee that I suddenly realized how incredibly bad I was at the game compared to him. Like, in 64 we would go back and forth, but in Melee he just destroyed me, absolute slaughter. And if you're the older brother and your younger brother's doing that, you cannot let that stand. So naturally I got really, really angry, and eventually he let me in on the secret. One night he took me aside and he showed me these videos of all these amazing players and stuff, specifically this match, Most 3, the grand finals. Absolutely incredible, this really back and forth thing that, up until this point, I didn't realize you could play this game this way. I just played Smash like, anybody else does, like tap up to jump, whatever. And this was a whole new world. This was like seeing an entirely new game within a game that I already really, really loved. So I just immediately set my mind going. I already had the camera. So it's kind of set the stage for this whole thing to take place. I immediately started thinking about this. At the time, my favorite documentary of all time was Ken Burns' The Civil War. When I saw it, it was like 10 VHS cassettes or whatever. I watched the whole thing through. I was like sick or something. And then when it was done, I watched the whole thing through again, just like back to back. So some people are familiar with that, with the Smash Brothers documentary, but that was kind of what I did. This is here's a little clip just to give you an idea of Ken Burns.
Exactly at 1 o'clock, a giant artillery barrage intended to soften up the Union defenses before the attack began with a deafening explosion. Meade had just left his commanders finishing their lunch. As an orderly served them butter, a shell tore the man in two.
The storm broke upon us so suddenly that numbers of soldiers and officers who leaped from their tents or lazy siestas on the grass were stricken in their rising with mortal wounds and died, some with cigars clamped between their teeth, some with pieces of food in their fingers.
So that kind of gives you an idea, right? It's like, I don't know if anybody, hands, has anybody ever seen this documentary? Anybody? Yeah, a few people. Okay, yeah, you in the back there. All right. I mean, it basically, it takes all these different perspectives when you're looking at a certain historical event, like Abraham Lincoln's take on a certain battle, and like a little lowly soldier's take on the same battle, and it gives you this really sort of comprehensive perspective, very emotionally wrought thing. So that in my mind set the idea of like, okay, I got to make a series out of this. That, and I kid you not, Dragon Ball Z. Those were my main kind of impetuses to want to do a series, because Dragon Ball, you can really kind of map it onto Smash in certain ways. Like, these guys are like exponentially better than most players. So that kind of made a lot of sense to me. And I thought it would kind of translate well, too, for people in the community. So I actually started looking at Chillin's history of a smasher. And this is, Kish Primes. This is a great post, too. 25 most influential events in Melee history. Just started, like, cataloging everything I could and making notes. Here's some examples of the actual notes that I made. Don't get hit. Oh, geez, oh God. Well, that was all that. So those were notes from the actual thing. Let me see if I can scroll back here a little bit. Yeah, here we go. So you can see the original title here of like the PC Revolution, which was ended up being episode 5 Revolution. This is before even the episode 7 had a title. Ended up being Paper Cuts, I think. Or no, that was framed. Mewtwo King, I wasn't really sure if he would be upset by me calling him a robot. So I just called his episode Frame by Frame at that point. I'm sorry, Mewtwo King. But naturally, I waited till I had done shooting to change the title to the robot. So after that was all done, I kind of had a conundrum because I had nothing to do with the Smash community. I was just kind of an outsider looking in, and I needed a way to convince people that this was a project that they should get involved in. This would be a fun thing to do, and you should trust me with this. So I decided to make a no-budget pilot episode. Some of you might remember this. Does anybody remember the pilot episode? Yes. I actually took it off the internet. It was so embarrassing to me in retrospect. But at the time, I think it was actually, people liked it a lot. It was pretty impressive for literally being no budget. So this is the original pilot episode right here. So enjoy the crapitude. This was it. The big showdown.
You guys want to know who's going to win team tomorrow? This is it right here.
They were finally coming to our turf.
2003 had been the year of Tournament Go. For Smashers, it was the only thing close to a national tournament, and the last 2 TGs had been dominated by one unstoppable force.
It was no secret. We had our asses handed to us in TG5. Ken came out on top. For a while I was like, Ken, the great, the invincible. You know what? You deserved it.
No, I wasn't worried. Not at all. TG5 was on their turf, their rules. Matt Deasy and West Coast was all about items, but we made sure they knew what we thought about that.
So these guys were actually, I don't know if you could tell, but just my coworkers that I wrote a script for, and they just sort of read what I wrote and pretended to be Smashers, and so that was good enough at the time to make people be like, "Oh, that's pretty good." That's and that helped a lot actually. I started a thread on Smashboards, this thread, which is still up, I'm assuming. Outlining the pilot and linking to a Kickstarter, people generally responded very positively. This is actually the very first post was Dr. Peepee, who said, "Definitely down to donate time and money to this thing. Great project we have here, in my opinion. Can't wait to see where this goes." So Peepee was a prescient person involved in that. Big ups to Peepee. And there was other awesome people that offered to help. Wizrobe, actually. I could also narrate for free. I've been told my voice is very relaxing. Probably not, but I'll give it a shot. So Wizzy was willing to help out from the get-go. Also, I think Zero. Oh, let me back up here a bit. Zero was one of the next ones to comment. He said, what did Zero say? "This project is amazing. I've watched the pilot episode like 100 times. I would donate if I could, unhappy face. However, I am showing and promoting the videos and channel a lot. I hope this works out. I am so excited for the next episodes, especially on Ken, Isaiah, Mewtwo King episodes, my favorite players of all time." So he was way into it. This was before he was TSM, though. There was some skepticism, actually, from a certain people's champion who was not going to go along with it unless I showed him all the storyboards and my business plan and everything like that. He wasn't going to support it. Interesting enough, Scar has said afterwards that he was very glad I did not listen to him, so that ended up working out. But for the most part, everybody was very much on board and helped out to produce it. I ended up not making the money, unfortunately, but putting the rest on a credit card, made everything kind of work out in the end. I quit my job and I would shoot for like a year. I shot for going from tournament to tournament, and eventually decided that I wasn't going to be able to finish this thing unless I quit my job and actually spent all my time and my effort on this thing. So for 5 months in 2013, all I did was edit and in a little thing and just work and work and work and work and work, and eventually October 11th, I want to say, rolled around and it came out, and that was it. Everybody seemed to like it. So that is the story of all the things that led up to the creation of the Smash Brothers documentary. It's if Wife and Chillin' and Hugs are still around, I know it's getting late. If they want to come up and answer any questions before we show the metagame clip, that would be great. Thank you. Wife? Yes. Good to see you, bud. Dude.
No mic?
Oh, we get to share. So these guys, without these guys, their voices, I think, is Chillin' around? He's out. Okay, Chillin's resting. Without these guys' voices, I don't think this would be nearly as good of a documentary. So first off, thanks to you guys. Round of applause for these guys and their amazing voices. I don't need it. Yeah. Cool. So if anybody has any questions, gentlemen here can run around and take them. So I don't know how much time we'll have. If there's we're good. However many people want to ask questions. So.
Yeah, hands up. We've got questions. Start it off.
Hey, Samox, huge fan. That pilot episode was very interesting, and I just wanted to know more about the big showdown because it sounded really hype.
Yes, it was very hype. That was my best acting, I have to say. Not going to win me an Oscar anytime soon, but good enough to get half of my Kickstarter funded. So that whole pilot episode was just about Game Over. It was essentially entirely about that. And funny enough, the part of that episode that I edited, like the big showdown, was Ken and Isaiah at Game Over. I used that final battle in the actual documentary. I thought it was edited well enough that it could be used in the final piece. So if I get enough people bugging me to actually release that crappy episode, the pilot episode originally, I will release it and you'll be able to see it in its full glory. So.
All right, who's next? All right, we'll get you first. Here you go.
So from 2011 to 2013, Armada was on a reign of terror and he didn't lose a single tournament. What made you decide to not do an episode about that? Like, I know that you did an episode on Mango, but how come there's no episode on Armada at that time?
Can't hear the question.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't exactly hear the question.
He was talking about the timing of when the documentary was released was during the reign of Armada and the choice to include Mango but not Armada at that time.
Still having a rough time. Can you get a little closer? Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, he was asking about the timing of the documentary being released was during the reign of Armada and the choice to include Mango but not Armada at that time.
Right. That's an excellent question, actually. And it's something that I wrestled with at the time. I want to place the blame mostly on the fact that I had a very limited amount of money, and I'd like to think that if I had more, I would have been able to spend the time to actually add that whole extra section, and you know, we would have gone into Genesis and even farther. But at a certain point, I was just like, okay, like I wanted to cover the early days, and like, you know, Ken and Isaiah and Azin and those guys, and I really needed to put a lot of time into that. And with the constraints I was working with, I just couldn't extend it further than a certain point, and I decided to sort of let it end on Mango, kind of because he won EVO 2013. That just seemed like, because of his legacy at that point, him coming back on the scene like that was such a definitive thing. It was like such a community-oriented thing where everybody kind of came together and made this amazing thing happen. We got into EVO, and then Mango won in this crazy fashion, you know, doing the losers bracket run back, or, you know, it was just, it seemed right to me. Yeah, the last episode was a little rushed. I do think it was a little rushed. It could have been fleshed out a little more, but I don't really regret kind of how it ended up. Now is the time to make the Armada series, so we have that to do now. So.
You have a question?
I have a question, Samox. I've made very clear that KDJ, Korean DJ, is my favorite player of all time. I've had a number of people suggest to me that he shouldn't have had his own chapter. Perhaps Chudat should have instead. Do you stand by that decision to have a whole chapter on KDJ? Or if you could go back and do it again, would you change it?
I think Chu definitely, and I've said this before, he definitely deserved his own episode. He was an incredible player, especially during that era, and could arguably been, like, you know, near the top, if not the top, at certain points. So, you know, I think it was a matter of like resources and stuff. I kind of looked at certain players, like KDJ. His episode, I thought about calling him the Meteor, specifically because he kind of like shot to the top and then was sort of gone, and that kind of that flash of like, here's a guy who came out of nowhere and he got really good by like money matching people. That seemed like a really interesting, engaging story and different. And I felt like I woven enough of Chudat's story into, you know, the other parts of it to kind of let it go, and he wouldn't have to necessarily have his own episode. So, yeah, it's just kind of it's a structural thing. I think, you know, if there had been time, absolutely, 100%, Chudat would have gotten his episode. Time and money, those are the only things. And looking at it from a structural narrative perspective, that was the part that I was like, okay, I just have to. He's going to be like a supporting character. He's not going to have his own episode. So.
Awesome, awesome. All right, who's next?
So this question's actually for Samox as well. Do you think since creating the documentary and since then being part of the Smash community, you could complete the same task that you asked Wife to sum up Smash as a whole?
Since the documentary, summing it up? Oh man, that is a tough one. That's always a tough question. I mean, I meant it to be a tough one when I asked him that, since I wanted to get that response from you. But it's funny, I feel like you could legitimately say that, like, for obvious reasons, Smash community is way different than it was before the documentary, before EVO, and you could point to things that are worse because it has exploded on such a big scale, and it's different. I would hesitate to say that it's worse on the whole. I think that there's so many good things that have come as a result of the greater publicity and stuff. But as far as sort of like summing it up, I don't know, maybe Wife should give a second stab at that. I don't know if I'm as good at that as she is.
Renaissance.
That was
it.
Yeah.
Renaissance.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is why he's in front of the camera a lot of times. So.
All right, I think we got time for just a couple more. Having to choose. You, right here.
What were your expectations for the way the Smash doc, like what were your expectations for how it was going to be received, and how different is that from what actually happened?
My goal originally was that I would get 100,000 views. That was my goal. It's like, oh, that's a nice round number, you know, that'll be awesome. So, I mean, I knew that the thing is, like, while I was doing it, it was a very personal project. While I was editing it, it was very alive to me. And in that sense, actually, the day after it was released and it was out in the world, I was kind of depressed, actually, for a while after that. It was because it had gone out into the world, and it was no longer like my personal thing. Now it was everybody's, you know. It was like, I kind of wanted these guys for myself for a little longer, but that's like dwarfed though by the absolute amazing outburst of
Do you have
happiness.
a viewer count? Do you have a total viewer count?
Last I checked, it was counting like the Amazing Shadows like single upload, which has like 1.5 million views on it. I would guess I would kind of count them that way. I mean, I think overall there's probably like 14 million views maybe at this point. So, yeah, a little more than 100,000. So that made me very happy inside.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, does anybody, just to switch things up a bit, because we did get them on stage, if it's all right, anybody have any questions for Hugs or Wife as well? Over here in the back.
Probably some kind of trash talk.
Hugs and or Wife? This is a question for, well, Wife, you already answered it, so I guess just Hugs. Who is your personal favorite Smash player of all time?
My personal favorite Smasher of all time? Not myself. Yeah. I mean, I think if it's... No, I spoke very highly of that guy. Actually, I think he totally changed the scene. If it wasn't for him, we'd still have people bragging about how much money they made at tournaments or how little they worked in order to win, right? But he was the first guy that came out and actually admitted to working really hard to win. And everyone made fun of him for it. Like, oh, you nerd, you're just practicing your basement. Like, and then he would just beat all of us. And then the talk switched to, all right, we can't actually play this game anymore because no one could beat this guy, so we're just gonna quit. And, but then all the actual hard workers started coming up. So props to that guy for that. But he's still not my favorite player, though. It would be... he'd be my favorite player if he actually, like, stuck to a character after it lost and didn't just switch. But he's not even paying attention. He's looking at the chat. I would go with... I would have to go with Mango. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah.
That's great perspective. Great perspective. All right, right here. You've been waiting for a while. I'll come to you. I'll come to you.
Okay, this is a question for all of you. What was your favorite moment filming the Smash documentary?
Favorite moment from the Smash documentary?
Yeah.
Favorite moment during the filming, you said? From the filming of the Smash documentary.
Wow, filming. I guess that would be like when I came and visited you guys, or?
Yeah.
So what was the favorite part of me filming you?
So I didn't really know what to expect from Samox. Even while we were filming, I still had a pretty low degree of confidence that I would even see YouTube, let alone be successful, because he was a stranger. And then after he was done filming, which was just me talking at a camera for a couple of hours, we went and got beers at Memphis Barbecue, and I realized, like, this guy's legit, and this might actually be a thing. So that was it. Yeah, that was it.
I wish we got beers, man. We didn't get beers. When I was asked to do it, it was just at some shady strip mall with, like, it was a Blur tournament, and back then tournaments had like 12 people. So it's like, I was barely playing at the time, and I think Blur mentioned that someone was trying to film something, and I expected nothing of it. I thought it was just gonna be some school project that was gonna see a classroom, and then that was the end, right? But we weren't big yet, so I had nothing better to do at the time. And so I went, and we did it, and after talking to you, then I was like, oh man, this guy actually seems like he knows what he's doing. And so then I really enjoyed the impression you left when you talked to me. It seemed like it was just a conversation, right? It didn't seem like you had just your questions lined up and it was an interview. We were actually talking. So you got me to say things about people that I have nothing to say about. You know what I mean? Like, when we spoke, you asked me about Asden, and I'm like, dude, I said like 2 words to that guy. Like, he's like, too good. And like, that's all I know about him.
Yeah.
But us talking, he still got something out of me. So when I saw that episode and I saw I was actually on it, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, that's my favorite part. Yeah.
So can I jump on that for a second? So have you ever had people take photographs of you, like for a work shoot or whatever, but anybody who's a good photographer would be like, that's great, that smile is awesome. That's how Samox is with questions. He asks you a question, you answer it, and he's like, like, what? What a great answer! And you just feel so good about yourself that it's easy to talk for 3 hours. So yeah, he's a great interviewer.
Yeah, probably the best I've had.
Awesome, awesome. All right, I'm being told we have time for one more because I know obviously everyone wants to get to the preview. All right, right here.
Hey guys, I was just wondering what kind of difficulties you faced during the editing process of the Smash documentary in terms of staying motivated over that long 5 months of editing.
That's an excellent question. The funny thing is actually I think the only reason that the documentary ended up being as good as well as edited as it was because I had my appendix exploded. Literally, it exploded. I was like, you know, kind of had a sort of pain in my side. I was still, you know, had my job or whatever. I was still trying to work on the shooting and stuff. And you know, I ended up going to the hospital. I actually walked there, and they were like, "Yeah, your appendix is exploded. We need to get it out of there because you're gonna get septic and stuff." So I was laid up for like a month, and I was legitimately like not allowed to go to work. So in that time, I was like, "Okay, I got this footage. I might as well kind of look at things to see how it fits together." And I realized that like there's no way that this is going to be amazing unless I quit my job. So like that kind of spurred me on to just like really go all in. But I think the real answer is that if the end product was not close to what I wanted it to be, I would die a little inside. Like that was the stake. Like it was really, really important that this get done. And because I was passionate about it. This was like an idea. It's like, no one had done this before, and like I really wanted to show people something that they'd never seen, and like this whole story was so fascinating. Why isn't it out there yet? So I felt a real responsibility, and I think that a responsibility to the art was kind of what drove me. It was like every day I'd wake up, I'd get my bagel, it was 6 a.m., I'd have my coffee, and you know, I'd just like chug away. I'd be like, all right, here's another minute, here's another 2 minutes, you know, and then keep going, keep going, keep going. You just gotta be obsessive in the same way that you might obsess over like frame data if you're a Mewtwo King or anybody else who's trying to get incredibly good. If you obsess over your work, any aspect of your life, you will get good at it. You will get good. If you're passionate and obsessed, you'll get good at it. So.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for all the questions. Let's give it up for our panelists again. We're gonna end it with, I guess, what everybody's been waiting for, the new preview of Metagame. So with that, again, one more round of applause. I'll hand it over to Samox, let him say a few words about it, and we'll end it with the clip.
If you guys will have more questions too, I'll just be hanging around after the preview, so, you know, come bother me.
Oh, those are the sweetest songs.
People were getting ready to quit Melee because there was a new Smash game coming out. It looked over. It's like, all right, well, we just play the next one. And people were already like giving it to Mewtwo King. It's like Mewtwo King won Melee. So we thought this would be our last big Melee tournament.
I believe it was the first time he flew out, which was like nuts for us. I don't think we ever thought we were going to be traveling for Smash.
Pound 3 was an amazing tournament going by the VODs and going by what it meant for Smash, but that tournament ran till 4 in the morning, and in the middle of winner's bracket, we had to unplug all of the televisions, leave the venue, walk maybe 10 minutes with like literally 6 or 7 CRTs, which were very big and heavy, and we relocated to a basement elsewhere on the campus. VGBootCamp made it to winners finals as predicted. I don't really think that he had anybody meaningful in his way who, like, you know, didn't just get squashed. And then there was Mango, who was this little 16-year-old with like a loose, ugly, stringy mustache and a huge attitude. And I super hated this kid. I don't know what it was about him, but I hated that he was there.
There were just guys walking around who were East Coast just smack talking me during all my sets. Like literally behind me, like, oh, this guy's not that good. This guy's a fluke. I'm like, man, this is rough.
In round 1 of pools, he actually lost to Vist, a local Luigi player. His Jigglypuff lost to Vist, and we were just like, we knew it. We knew it, man. We knew this guy was not that good. We called it. And then we go into the bracket, the top 32 bracket. He apparently loses Link Dittos to Silent Wolf.
And for him to lose the first match in a Link Ditto in the bracket and then go straight to losers, I was upset. I was so mad at him for doing that, because we went all the way out there to see him do well, and he was already messing around, even back then as a little kid.
Everyone's expecting me to succeed, and it's like, I gotta do good this whole time, you know? That's when it hit me that from now on I would always have this pressure on my back. That's when I realized, like, oh dang, like it's not gonna be easy from here on out now. Like now, once people have the expectations, like it's go time.
Mango Lucky do not want hand warmers, so here they are. Oh, great DI on that forward smash. He barely went out. Oh, the hard read! Something to think about. Yo, that was sick! Yo, that was sick!
It's Lucky. Okay, yeah. Oh! Whoa, 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 whoa!
In Melee, we love to be cool. Even our top players, even in tournament, even when there's thousands of dollars on the line, we love swagging. Oh, and the forward smash! The simple and clean finish!
People like Mango really blossom in these high pressure situations. He's good in top 8s.
And Mango finds the up air.
He's good in finals.
That's not a Mango thing.
No.
So, you know, oh, wait a minute. Just as I say that, Mango's saying, yo, I have tech skill too!
My goodness!
Mango as a player plays best from behind.
Oh, beautiful down tilt.
Yeah. Whoa! He plays best in the loser's bracket. Loser's bracket Mango is like, put it on the big screen. Like, we're about to see some Melee here, boys.
Getting out of his mind.
Mango's playing amazing right now. I gotta say. Mata has a mountain to climb.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, and Mango wins 3-1.
Oh my God.
At that time, the detail.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's it.
Oh, they does it again.
Wow.
The double jump.
Exploiting the habits that people have, that they're conditioned to do, because that is what you were supposed to do, and that's what used to work 9 times out of 10 until you fought him.
Wow, the moonwalk.
and then he gets away with it because he knows you better than you know yourself.
You can't just force dunk me, Mango!
Oh my
You
God.
can't just force dunk me, Mango!
Apparently, yes you can. Wow.
Oh, and Mango with the fanfare!
It's like the fact that it's Melee doesn't matter. He just beat you.
Count it again, Mango.
Music